Alright guys, today we have the Hungarian SA85M rifles. These are post-ban that were later corrected by a gunsmith. The bottom one, I bought these two used. According to the previous owner of this particular one, it was corrected by Rifle Dynamics by Jim Fuller's company. And this top one, the guy told me it was corrected by a local AK gunsmith. So basically what it means is that the post-band configuration will be imported into the US without the bayonet lug as shown here, and without the threaded muzzle. Which is post-band is after 1994, which they are also cheaper than the pre-ban version, which are imported prior or prior of 1989 ban. Anyways, these are SA85M Hungarian FEG factory made rifles. The bottom one shown here, it's basically a semi-auto clone of the Hungarian military AKM63, and the top one here, this is a semi-auto clone of the AK63. The names are really similar, but the bottom one here came before the configuration shown above here. A lot of times people will mistakenly call these as AMD63, which is incorrect. Although it does have the vertical foregrip and the front portion of the rifle does look really similar to the Hungarian AMD65, which used to be everywhere, but they are not. The names do not relate, and it's kind of strange how they name their military rifles. It gets kind of confusing. So AKM63 and AK63 on top. Not sure why they kept the 63 number, but anyways, so let's focus on the bottom rifle for now. Okay, let's talk about the importer first. So you might be able to see here FEG factory stamp, SA85M caliber 7.62-39, semi-automatic, made in Hungary, and import. That's the marking here. Not sure if you can see it. KBI Inc. in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The post-ban versions of these rifles will be imported only by KBI, and then the pre-ban will be imported by the Kasnar. The AKM63 shown here will come with a vertical foregrip, steel handguard. It's not really a guard anymore because it soaks up all the heat from the barrel. A unique handguard retainer. You can see here it's got holes, no idea why, but it's there. An exposed gas tube, no guards. Standard rifle gasoline, where the gas block is just like the normal standard AKM and all the rest. It's extended out compared to the AMD63, which is slightly moved rearward. The muzzle end is just a standard. It's not correct for this type to have the slanted muzzle brake. If you really want to go all full out authentic AKM63, you would have a muzzle nut instead of a muzzle brake, a slanted muzzle brake. So that's that. These are getting harder to find nowadays. At least I'm talking about the parts kit, the AKM63 parts kit. They are ridiculously hard to find. I heard, not sure if this is correct, but I saw a video saying that less than 200 or something 200 hundreds of, it's less than 1,000 parts kit had been imported. That's really unfortunate actually. This is one of my favorite, although it's kind of ugly, and I do know, you know, the reason why people think these are kind of ugly. Even though they're ugly, these are one of my favorite AKM variants out there. They are just so unique looking, and you know, it's one of those AKs. To me, the visual aesthetics of it can grow on you, you know, after some time. And this is one of my very first, not this particular one, but my very first AK was a AKM63. So it holds it is kind of special to me personally. It's got both of these will have a puckerized finish underneath the painted outer layer exterior. This is sort of like a, you know, shiny AK black type finish. Not super durable, but it's pretty typical of AK finishes, so nothing too special there. As you can probably already tell, let's move this to top. The vertical foregrip here is it's basically a reversed of the pistol grip at the back here, just flipped over. One of the reasons is that you know, for magazine clearance, you definitely will have some trouble doing fast mag reloads, because it's not quite the same as typical AK reloads. You kind of have to do the straight in, and then you can rock back. You cannot do what this one can, which is, you know, you can tilt it all the way, you know, almost parallel to the barrel, and then just rock it back, which is the best reloading technique in my opinion. Unfortunately, on the AKM63, you cannot do that. You'll see a lot of parts kits, at least for the forward grip here, you'll see a lot of dings and marks on the pistol grip due to that, you know, clearance with the magazine. It is slightly more difficult to put it in. On this particular rifle I have here, both of these pistol grips are Hungarian, and the buttstock, which is actually kind of hard to find due to the fact that AKM63 parts kits are so limited in numbers. AMD65 will have the folder, so these buttstocks will, you know, it's actually pretty hard to find. I think I sold one. I saw a member on AK Files sold these for, I think, just the buttstock for, I think it was $180 just for the buttstock alone. So it is quite costly and limited in number. So I do prefer the fixed stock version. I do like the AMD65. I used to own one. I did sell it. It is not something I like to shoot actually. The stick single wire buttstock, folding stock is just not comfortable to me. Alright, let's talk about the one on top. Let's put a magazine in. Okay, the AK63, which, as mentioned early in the video, came before the AKM63. Hungarians military probably figure out that unless you live in a tundra or somewhere really cold or wintertime, the heat shield, the steel handguard here is not particularly functional and friendly on the hand. After, you know, burning through 60, 90, 120 rounds mag dump or a full auto fire, it will burn your hand pretty good. Especially I'm not sure why they think it's a good idea to have it just you know, on top here, just a gas tube, exposed gas tube. That's something you really have to watch out for when you're holding. At least for me, I like to do the thumb brake hold, and if you have a really big hand, long fingers, you sometimes you might be you just have to be careful not to touch the gas tube there. So the AK, basically an AKM copy here, AK63 Hungarian. It's just a very standard configuration. What's different on here is the vented, you might be able to tell here, vented gas tube, which you can also see here. It's got a gas tube that's also vented. So it's kind of redundant. I don't think it's necessary, seeing how the Russian AKMs do not have these holes on the gas tube. So I personally prefer the non-vented gas tube. I just like the simple look of it. But that is that. Going back here, the gas tube lever is just a slab side lever. On the Russian AKMs, from what I can dig up from, you know, online and books, it's that they'll have a different configuration of the lever, where the this side of the lever will look slightly more like this, where it has a raised surface at the tip here. The Hungarians, they just have a slab side, just a plain plate there. Pretty much everything is the same. Comparing this to a Russian AKM, you know, just a pretty legitimate copy of the Russian AKM. As mentioned, the AKM63 above here is one of my favorite AKM. This is kind of the reason why I am selling this one. I just don't see a reason keeping, you know, money is tight, and I do need, you know, more money for, I love to shoot, so I need to pay for ammo. So I'm kind of funny that I'm selling guns to buy more ammo, but I am selling this right now, and you can find them on several forums. It is for sale right now. Just check out the listing if you want to. It shot great. I barely have any rounds. I only have maybe 120 rounds through it. The previous owner barely shot it either. So if you want one, just check out the listing. Funny story is that these are both post-band rifles. I actually used to, you know, some of you guys know, early subscribers will know, I mainly just do AK and AK videos early on. I'm definitely still an AK fan, but just not as crazy anymore. Funny story is that I used to own 4 new in box Hungarian pre-bands and 2 shooters, also pre-band. Got it all from, almost all of them are from the same guy. Not sure why he was selling all those guns, but I bought them all for a pretty fair price back in the day. I think it was 7 years ago. Yeah, it's about 7 years ago. That I think for each, I think he was asking, I paid $1,300 to I think $1,400, which was a pretty fair price back in the day. Seeing how the, you know, back then the new in box versions were on, you know, $1,600, $1,700, even $1,800 for a new in box example. Nowadays, if you're lucky, you can find one for new in box for $2,200 up to maybe $2,400 or even more. Some people are pretty crazy for the, you know, the asking price and the selling price. It's usually about $2,200, $2,400 for a new in box as of now, 2018. So eventually I sold all of those. You know, I need some money for for other purchases, also gun related, unfortunately, that's the case. You know, I just that's kind of how I am. I trade and sell depending on, you know, what I'm looking for and what my interests are at that time. It does shift every now and then. So these are post-band, and you can probably find them for, you know, post-band unconverted with a ugly thumb hole stock, which of course this one's corrected. But in the original post-band configuration, new in box, you can, it's probably around, if you're lucky, $700. Normally you can find them for 800 to you know, 1,000. Both of these were, you know, around 1,900 to 1,000 range when I bought it, you know, all corrected and everything. So I think that is a pretty fair price, seeing how a lot of the SGLs are going way more than that. You know, a couple $100 more, and that illegit foreign-made AKM platforms like these are, you know, it's very rare to find them anymore. I don't even know if any foreign companies are exporting these anymore to the States, because SGLs and, you know, the Russian ones are, you know, of course banned, but they are more like the modern version with the 74 brake, which are not the AKM platform. The Arsenal SLRs 107 FR and the 107R, they are not AKM in AKM configuration. They are not copies of the originals, because they have later style 90-degree gas block, which are found on the AK74, and also the front side base here is not AKM pattern. Those are more like the AK47 milled Type 3 variant pattern front side base, so they are not legit AKMs either. So going back to the point there, if you are looking for an AKM clone of some kind, you probably have to go pre-ban, post-ban, or the US parts kits guns, which are also drying out, unfortunately, especially nowadays where the, you know, all the sanctions, all the parts kits are drying up. So I would recommend you guys to find a post-ban and convert them. You know, it's more of a sensible way to do a shooter grade rifle. Of course, the collectors will always push for the, you know, they'll always try to find the pre-ban, and the pre-bans are going for crazy money right now. So I don't know if you guys want to do that, but that's what I recommend. For post-ban, it's you can easily do one for a shooter, convert them into a proper military configuration, and enjoy the rifle, shoot it for what it is. It is still, at least the metal parts are pretty much just Hungarian made, foreign made parts, quality rifle. So I think that is all I have to cover. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you.